Hello and welcome to the TCS podcast, where we are dedicated to helping you achieve extraordinary growth and success to create a lasting impact for your families, communities, and companies. I'm Eric Guy, president of TCS. With us, back by popular demand, is Mr. Anthony Abbruzi. Thank you, sir, for coming on.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me back.
Again, Anthony's also a board member for TCS. Been a great addition, actually, to the board. He and his brother are up in New York. They run Abruzi Floors, and we're going to talk today, dig in a little bit about, I don't know if I'd call it a strategic shift, but a shift in your thinking and how you went about that. I was kind of in some of those conversations, or I should say you let me be in some of those conversations. And we're going to dig into that today, but I wanted to just kind of get where your head was at. You always have good advice, Anthony, because you're a thinker. And I think you and Nick, your brother, talk quite a bit. So you bring a lot of that kind of thought process to our contractors. So I think it'll be a good session here. So let's start out with this question. When you look back at 2025, what was the biggest lesson that kind of hit you in the face as a business owner?
Probably that I I feel like me and Nick realized that we were looking at our business through and I actually heard this say on a different podcast. We were looking through our business through a keyhole when really the door was right in front of us. A big giant door was right in front of us, and I we had a huge realization that we were leaving a lot on the table and not understanding the actual growth and scalability that came as a part of our business, and also like realizing that there's a lot of features as a part of our business that we just have to overcome in order to scale, rather than just seeing them as little things that we have to deal with. Like they're always going to be present at every level of growth. It's just a matter of making sure that we can come up with systems that will allow us to solve them as they evolve.
What's an example of that?
So customers in general, like finding the right clients, and the ideal client for us came in at figuring out who we like working for. We we do a lot of work for general contractors, facility managers, direct end users, as well as now homeowners. So the people that we like working for doesn't matter out of the four of those things. It matters like the actual client. So like for like end users, we have a really great relationship with a grocery store that's out here, and we love doing work with them. Outside of like payment and everything like that, they are easy to talk to. They understand the process. They know what has to go on because they actually listen to us
Huh?
when things need to be moved for us or got out of the way, or if we need a couple extra days in an area to make sure that everything comes out right. They're on board with that. They're not pushy. They're not trying to get you done for their schedule. They get you in with plenty of time to make sure. And this is what they do with all of their trades. It's not just us.
Right.
They get plenty of time on the board, and even though their schedule was demanding, they opened up the possibilities to work at all different times and make sure that they accommodated us in order for us to accommodate that. So I think like having that kind of client this year really made it a lot easier for us to identify our ideal client. And then going into like the residential side, just working with people that love their home and want to see a part of it that otherwise is kind of forgotten about, which is like a garage, um, become a beautiful space, and seeing them light up when it's all done is like, it's the best. It's the best. I love it.
Um, Unexpected challenges for this year. Were there any?
Yeah,
uh,
yeah. Go ahead. I
what
didn't want to cut you off.
yeah, I guess the kind of two parts, Anthony. I'm sorry. Were there any? And I laugh because there's always some. There's always some challenges. And were there any that forced you to think differently?
Yeah. So I would say, in respect to the chuckle part, um, if you're not if you own a business and there's like no problems in your day to day, you're doing. I feel like then you're possibly doing something maybe a little bit wrong, or you're not pushing the envelope hard enough to like deal with problems, or maybe you elevate it to the point where like everybody else is dealing with the problems for you. But there's always problems to solve, whether it's you or somebody else. And then unexpected problems for us was just I feel like a lot of our work is in Manhattan, and that the city has been going through a lot of like turmoil and changes lately in the last couple of years, and I feel like it's really coming to a head now, and really a huge change is probably on the way. I feel like the people are more apprehensive to build there. There's a lot of people moving out of Manhattan into the suburbs, a lot of companies moving to different states. So it those kind of things were the changes that we had to kind of move and shift with. Even though we haven't really seen much of a drop in work there, it is all things are pointing towards a little bit of a slowdown in building out there. Just from what we can feel. I'm not saying like I'm an expert or, anything like that, but this is just what we're feeling based on what we're hearing.
And when did that like new thinking start? Like when did you kind of notice that, and what was part of the new thinking? Because you mentioned, and I know this, but I know you mentioned, you're moving into more residential types of things. What kind of precipitated that kind of thinking?
Just trying to get more work that was local to us. We have been in Manhattan. So my dad started our company in 1999, and me and my brother just grew up going to Manhattan for work. And it's with no traffic, you can get there in an hour, but that that doesn't happen. So we're there 2 hours, 3 hours in the trucks going one way. It's I love working in the city. It's one of my favorite places to work. The energy there is incredible. Um, it really never sleeps. But we just wanted to get something that was more local to us, and something that we saw is also, like I was saying before, a little bit more rewarding. Like when you see the homeowner come out and they see their floor, or when you see an end user come out and see like their floor in their warehouse, in their grocery store, they're like blown away. Because I don't get to do that in Manhattan, because I'm working through a general contractor, and the general contractor may say something nice, but like most of the time, no news is good news.
Yeah, yeah, it's a very good point. If I were to ask you what decision in this year would you say ultimately protected your business or created a breakthrough, what would you say?
Um, what decision? I would say just trying to get more of the I would say trying to get more of the local work. I think that was a breakthrough decision for us. We started branching out more, networking out here, joined a couple more groups that were local to us that we had no idea even existed. Um, full of our ideal clients. Like it was a really big breakthrough, and it just took, because we were so, like I was saying, we were looking through our business through such a narrow hole that once we opened our minds, we were like, oh my god, there actually is work out here that we're leaving on the table, and it's our local market really can support a lot of work in addition to Manhattan.
Yeah, and through that, I mean, even this year, like I know you've grown, but how has like your leadership team grown? What did it teach you personally about leadership?
Um, I'm trying to wrap it up in a concise way. Basically, once we started realizing that we can get the work out here, we had to lean on our project manager and our field supervisor a lot more. And we literally had a powwow. Like we had to sit down with them. We were like, listen, we want to do this path for the business, but we need your help with the current path that we're on, and we're not going to be able to have the bandwidth to do both. so you guys got to really like once we sell these jobs in the commercial side of things and in the Manhattan side of things, you guys got to really run with it and do what you can to figure it out. Like and they have been fantastic. Like they've really stepped up, and it's been incredible to see because they're actively trying to make sure that their end of things is running really well. And I had to say it to them too. One, I congratulated them on it. You know, me and my brother congratulated them. And two, also saying like, I'm not trying to be an ass or anything like that. Like, I just want to make sure that you guys are able to do this on your own. So if you text me or call me and don't get a response, it's probably because I'm doing it on purpose. And two, you guys, I know that you guys are capable of doing this. You've been doing this for years now. You're superstars, and I just want you to see that you're superstars. And they have taken that and ran with it, and it's been great.
Were they able to see, or are they able to see that now? Like, how you empowered them and able to take that on? Are they able to see that in themselves now?
Yeah, but I think that they're also like two really, really like humble, good guys. And you know you have their PIs. Like
Yeah.
they're they're super humble, great guys that will never brag about themselves. They're actually super hard on themselves. Like if they forget like one little thing, they'll be like, oh, like they'll get all frustrated. But in 99% of the time, they're on point.
If you could rewind this year and go back to the beginning of the year, back to January, what would you tell yourself?
I I think I think it would be to open up my mind and to open up my mind and to implement more. Because even though I always say to implement like what you're learning, I feel like I never do enough of it. And I think that this year, like going into this go like since we came back from California. So for those who don't know, we had a retreat, not a retreat, a meetup in California, and there I got to talk to a lot of people and expand my thought. That meetup actually expanded my thoughts tremendously. And since we've come back from that, I have been I've never felt more prepared to go into a quarter one than ever. And it's amazing feeling. And I think having that open-mindedness and also ability to implement and cut time in half too. Like if you think something should take you a week, try to make it so that it's 2 days. If you think it should and just do it. Just try and knock it out and get it out of the way. I've done that in the last month with me and my brother, and it's been like I have never seen us get more stuff done that matters to the business than ever. And it's really, really cool to see that we could do that, and also very frustrating to see that we haven't done it in the past. But I think that was the biggest breakthrough for us.
Yeah, I think that was funny because I don't remember what put us on the phone together, or right after the meetup or anything. But I remember you saying that and something to the effect of, "I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier." Like, what was it? Do you know? Was there one or two specific things while you were out in California that kind of triggered that movement of thought? Because you came back and it was like boom, boom, like it happened very quick.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was the board dinner when we were all getting together, and I was sitting next to Keith Jr. and I was able to ask him a bunch of questions, and then after when we got back to the hotel, I was asking Travis a bunch of questions and you and everybody, and just like getting a feel for what my thoughts were and my frustrations. And then like I'm telling you, at the end of that night, I went to bed. I laid down in the hotel bed and I was like, it felt like I had an illuminated path in front of me. I was like, "Oh my god, this is what we've needed to do." And then my brother was texting because he couldn't make it to the meetup, but he was texting me, and we were going back and forth that night about different ideas and different ways that we could do it. And then I came back and we started implementing those things and saw results immediately. And it was like little test results, little test samples, and like we started to extrapolate that out, and it's working, and it's given me a lot of energy.
Well, and I laugh about this, but this happens to all of us. I mean, a lot of times we just hang on what's familiar, right? But and it's been familiar for you for a long time. I mean, that's kind of all you, both of you knew. I mean,
Mhm.
you get up, you go to Manhattan, you do this, you know. How did you, was there any fear actually even involved of making such a big pivot? And, were there a couple of things where you're just like, other than what you said already, where you're just like, "Hey, we're gonna do this."
No, I don't think that there's always fear, but for us, like, for us, it's like the same industry, just a different place that we're gonna put the floor down, you know? Like, we've never really, up until last this year, we did like a handful of garages every year. We did a handful of residential work. Like, probably, it'd be fair to say that we tried to stay away from it. Um, but you know, doing that now, it kind of eliminated the fear, and we're just seeing it as like a different avenue of moving into. And I think that we're trying to also address our fears with actual like facts. Okay, so like what we need to do this many in order to make this much revenue. Like, okay, how do we do that? And then work backwards. Cause that's what we've been taught in TCS. Like, how do we work, take the big goal and work it backwards? And like through that, we're able to say, like, making educated decisions and try to remove the fear piece by piece.
And as you did that, what surprised you the most as you entered into doing more residential work?
All of it, really. Like, all of it. Hearing people say like that they were comfortable buying from us. And then I've had, like, 3 people say, like, "Oh, I've had so and so here, and so and so here, and so and so here," and then you came, and, they said this about me and my brother, like, "You guys made me feel comfortable even though you were more expensive." And that was, like, the biggest thing that I heard early on. It was from from a mentor. It was like, "Make a friend and make a sale." And I'm trying to not sell somebody in a way that they wouldn't be my friend at the end of the experience. And I went to go see someone. I had to go do a touch up at one of our recent installations, and the guy he's building out his garage to be like a hangout. And he's like, "I'm telling you, when I'm done with this, you and Nick are coming over. We're gonna have a beer and we're gonna hang out, and you'll enjoy the space. I want you to meet my kids. I want you to do everything." I was like, "This is awesome. Like, this is great. I would never get this experience." And I was like,
Right,
I felt good at the end of it because I realized that I didn't like, there was no like used car salesman stuff. Like, I don't like
right.
that.
Um, Talking a little bit about marketing strategy and what needed to change, but what I really wanna know is how's Tony?
Oh, he's actually really, so Tony's my dad. He's really excited. Really,
No, the
really.
other Tony.
My friend Tony.
The Tony that was on. So just a little story, guys. You just catch clips here and there on social media, and for some reason, I got on some of these clips. Right, I was fortunate enough, and it's like, hey, look, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this garage for Tony. If he doesn't like it, I think the deal was he doesn't have to pay. Is that correct?
Mhm.
And so I'm watching. I'm like, is Tony gonna, like, what's he gonna do? Like, is he gonna be upset? Is he gonna like it? I figured he'd probably like it, but can you just give the audience like that story, because I think it's a good marketing strategy, but it aligns with what you just said. Having a friend, like seeing somebody like that finished project and seeing their face and showing how much they appreciate it and things like that. Walk us through that a little bit if you could, because I think it's great for us contractors to remember that we need to do things like that, and we need to be okay with putting it out there for other people to see.
Yeah. So the full story is Tony is a good friend of mine. He's my neighbor, and he's also somebody that we do a lot of work for. So he owns a meal prep company, and we do those floors in all of his places. So he said that and he has a great way. He has a great personality, and he did not say that he was going to say that on camera before he put before he pressed play. And so me and Nikki had to like come up with like, oh yeah, yeah, but I would have totally agreed to that based on who he is. And he is like an amazing guy. So when he pressed play and he said, if it's not getting done in one day, then I get it for
That's it.
free. And I was like, all right, fine, whatever, challenge accepted. And because I knew that we were going to get it done in a day. And he came back and he was thrilled with it because it looked exactly the way he wanted. And he's great, because he's able to have, he has, like I said, he has a great personality on camera and off camera, and he pushes you. And as like you're saying, to like keep this in mind as contractors, like
Yeah.
he pushed me to get out of my comfort zone on camera and to do that kind of stuff, and put myself in an uncomfortable situation that could have I would have never otherwise put myself in. And it's very important to like, whether somebody does that for you or whether you do that for yourself, you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation in order to like get to that next level of growth. And I feel like he really helped me that day with that, because he even said it. He's like, you got to get loose. You got to get loose. You got to just like understand that you're trying to do a good job for somebody, whether it's me or somebody else, and put your best foot forward and do it. And I was able to translate that with him, and I can't thank him enough for that. He's a great guy, and as contractors, we have to remember that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Good stuff. And I
I'm
mean,
happy you followed along with that.
yeah, I mean, it's just good. I think it's just good marketing, but it's, it's just good word of mouth and things of that nature. Um, any shifts in the culture since you've, kind of taken on more residential? What have you noticed?
Yeah. So our guys, our team in general, since we've taken on this different path of actually and I wouldn't even say it's just residential, because it's also like a lot of direct end user work.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
it's
ever
probably
since we
better to
it's
to
it's
call it
way
that.
better. Everybody is much happier. And that's not to say, like, listen, that's not to say general contractors are bad. They are
Yeah.
so not bad. There are, just as anything else, there are good general contractors, bad general contractors, great clients, bad clients. It's all encompassing. And when we've decided to go after our ideal client, that's when everybody started to get much happier, whether it was commercial or residential. It 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 made everybody much happier. Like, you could feel everybody a little bit lighter, everybody's a little bit happier, because there's nobody like driving them or making sure that they deliver on this date. Like, it's more relaxed, it's more comfortable, and everybody's pumped.
Yeah, and I think that's the great lesson there, is because we talked about that. I feel like we've had that conversation so much in the inner circle meetings, and even just at the meetups and things like that, of really looking at like, who do you want to work with? Who's your ideal client? And when you start looking for them, they start showing up, and you get the Tonys and things of that nature. So it's always a good lesson. I appreciate you telling the story. Last segment here, Anthony's some more rapid fire questions. We'll see how you answer these this time. Um, Out of all the decisions you made in 2025, what was the best one?
Business and personal, or just business?
Anyone? Yeah.
um Best decision I made in 2025, I would say to, like, I'm having a hard time deciding whether it's to open up my mind, or to, like, because I feel like I've done both things, is open up my mind and work harder. Because by doing both of those things, I've been able to have a much better quality of life as a result in my personal life as well. Like, because when I'm here, I'm working a lot harder than I used to in order to make sure that my days are more effective.
Hmm.
And then when I get home, I don't feel that guilt of like, I need to do
Yeah.
this, I need to check in, I need to do that. Because by working harder here and more focused, I was able to pass off some of my duties to like I was saying, our project manager and our foreman, and they have enabled me to have a better quality of life while we check in during the day. And then opening my mind up to different things has increased just like my energy levels and everything like that. So I have a hard time deciding between those two.
That's good. Favorite tool or piece of equipment you can't live without?
Favorite tool?
And we're not allowed to use Nikki there.
No, 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 no. He's like so that's a great me and him play off really well with each other,
Yeah.
and that's a great relationship that we have. A favorite tool would be our floor grinders. I can't live without those things. Without that all goes away.
Gotcha. One book you think every contractor should read?
I think I have it. Oh, I don't have it. Oh, this one. Building a Story Brand.
Yeah, good
I think
stuff.
that's a great book because we're always, as contractors, we want to help people. That book shows you how to guide people to making the best decision. If you're truly involved, like in it, to make sure that the client has its best, their best, you know, outcome, then read that book and you will help all of your clients 10 times more.
Most underrated skill for a construction leader?
Ability to listen.
Good. Your typical coffee order?
Just half and half. I haven't made it to like real man level where it's like black.
Yeah,
So I
not
have
there yet.
just a half and half.
And then the last one question every business owner should ask their team weekly.
One question they should ask weekly. Ask themselves or I ask them?
Ask their team.
I want to say it's like something where it's like, how do you help the team? Like, what's your role in helping the team? Something like that, where
Okay.
to put them on the spot and be like, what do you do to help move the ball forward?
Gotcha. Well, thanks a bunch for coming back on here again. This was good. We're getting pretty good at this, you and I. So
I agree.
was a lot of good information. I actually took some notes,
Oh, it's great.
which was good. And thank you for providing that. Thank you for providing the story around that, the marketing ideas, just your thought process and things like that. I really appreciate it, Anthony.
No, you're welcome. Thank you again. And I appreciate our friendship and everything like that. And it's always a pleasure talking to you.
All right. That's a wrap today for the TCS podcast, guys. Until next time, keep leading, keep growing, and keep winning. We'll see you next time.